The Dance of Shadows. The sun dipped low over the horizon, casting a golden sheen over the village of Kintari, where laughter mingled with vibrant colors in an anticipatory dance. Everywhere, preparations for Nia's wedding filled the air with a contagious excitement that fluttered like butterflies in the warm dusk. Nia herself was in the midst of it all, her heart racing with a joyful rhythm that matched the beat of the village drums. Dressed in a rich blue cloth that hugged her curves, embellished with delicate gold embroidery, Nia was the embodiment of beauty, radiant and alive. Her friends, Amoni among them, buzzed around her, weaving garlands of wildflowers and tying them into her curls, their giggles echoing like music in the air. Today, she would become Kofi's bride, an event murmured with admiration and envy by many. "Don't you look like a goddess, Nia?" Amoni exclaimed, stepping back to admire her handiwork. "If Kofi doesn't drop to his knees when he sees you, I'll eat my bead necklace." "Oh hush." Nia laughed, her cheeks warming. "I'm terrified he might just. What if my father really does make a scene during the ceremony?" Amoni quickly shook her head. "You've nothing to fear. This is a day of joy, not of theatrics. Trust me, Kofi loves you more than anything." Nia nodded, but her thoughts strayed towards the shadowy grove that lay beyond the village boundaries. As much as she reveled in the excitement of love, something within her fizzed with unspoken uncertainties, an ancient whisper that had tugged at her heart for weeks. As night enveloped Kintari, the village square transformed into a magnum opus of colors and sounds. Lanterns flickered to life, illuminating the beaming faces of friends and family gathered to celebrate the union of two souls. Kofi arrived, buoyant and dashing, a handmade necklace of beads strung around his neck, each bead a gift from the villagers, reflecting their love and wishes. His eyes met Nia's, and in that instant, the cacophony of the world faded into silken silence. It was as if the universe had folded around them, enveloping them in a shared heartbeat. "Nia," he said, taking her hands into his. "You look breathtaking. I'd almost forget the sacred vows if I kept staring." "Well then, you best get on with it," she teased, her heart thumping wildly, for this was it, the moment they would exchange the sacred vows of connection, bound together by love and community. Time unraveled beneath the strains of the ceremonial songs, their voices rising like incense into the night sky. The village elder, Mama Esi, stood before them, a wise figure clad in flowing linens, her eyes reflecting the flickering light of the torches around. She delivered the ceremonial blessings with a fervent tone, enveloping the couple's hearts with protection. But something flickered beneath the surface, an energy that tingled through Nia's veins. As she recited her vows, promising love and fidelity, she felt an old weight tugging at her heart, a pulling toward the shadows of the grove. Why had she always felt it calling to her? What secrets lingered there? The ceremony reached its zenith when Kofi placed a ring upon her finger, encircling her with light and promise. The villagers cheered, but Nia's gaze strayed toward the edge of the grove a few paces away. It seemed to breathe, dark and inviting, yet tainted with an inherited caution. As the night wore on, the festivities surged around her, laughter resonating like the rolling thunder of celebration. Yet, the threads of unease unraveled tighter around her, whispering through her mind. In the midst of their dance, Kofi wrapped an arm around her shoulder. "Want to get away? Just for a moment?" Nia's heart quickened. "Away? Yes. Let's sneak a peek at the stars without all the fuss," he suggested with a wink. "Just me and you." As they slipped away from the revelry, Nia felt a sense of dappled freedom rise in her chest, though the grove loomed closer. They walked hand in hand toward its shadows, laughter from the square dimming behind them. The world turned quieter as they crossed the threshold. "I've always wanted to know the secrets of this grove," Kofi said, momentarily quelling her doubts. As they stepped further in, moonlight spilled through the leaves, dancing upon the ground like scattered jewels. Nia's heart thudded louder, a storm of anticipation and fear swirling within her. Then, as if the grove itself exhaled, reality shifted around her. Beneath the moon's gaze, an eerie stillness enveloped them, a foreboding whisper in the leaves. Nia froze, shadows shifting in her peripheral vision, their dark forms weaving and melding, indistinguishably intertwined. Kofi, sensing her hesitation, turned to her with a smile that faded into uncertainty. "What's wrong?" I don't know," she stammered, unease knitting itself tighter around her heart. A tremor gripped her, as an inexplicable power of the grove resonated with her essence, drawing her in, breathing life into her unspoken fears. Tonight was a celebration, yet from somewhere deep inside, a voice beckoned, whispering that shadows would soon unveil the truth hidden within their intertwined fates. And the night, once so filled with promise, now loomed like an unwelcome specter, preparing to unravel the very fabric of Nia's existence. An ancient dance had begun, and she was at its center, teetering on the precipice between love and destiny. Veils of revelation. Nia's heart raced as she and Kofi ventured deeper into the grove, the vibrant sounds of the village carnival fading behind them, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves against the breeze. The moon, a radiant chandelier overhead, illuminated strange patterns across the ground, casting fleeting shadows distorted by the flickering light. A chill ran down her spine, and an inexplicable tension clung to the air, a collision of anticipation and dread. "Isn't it beautiful?" Kofi's voice broke the fragile silence, as he surveyed the grove with wonder. He moved closer, his presence radiating warmth despite the cool night around them. Nia nodded but felt the weight of something unseen pressing down on her. "It is. But it feels different. I've never noticed how alive it seems." Kofi tilted his head, studying her. "The stories say the grove holds secrets, but they're just tales, right? Nothing to be afraid of." "Perhaps," she murmured, trying to shake the feeling gnawing at her. Beneath their joyful exterior lay the sudden urge to flee, an instinct tugging at her like the current of a river against stone. "Let's sit for a moment." Kofi gestured to a nearby stone, obvious and aged, its surface etched with tribal markings. Lines folded into an intricate tapestry worn by centuries. As they sat closely, Nia leaned into him, absorbing his warmth, but something still felt awry. "Kofi," she began hesitantly, knowing she had to voice her fears. "Have you ever wondered about the stories, about the transformations?" He chuckled lightly, placing an arm around her. "Those old tales? They're just that, Nia. Fantasies our elders spun to scare us into behaving." But as he spoke, her mind was drawn back to her childhood, recalling the whispers of her mother, a siren call that echoed in her heart. What if the stories were more than mere folklore? "Sometimes, I sense there is more to them. Something hidden beneath," Nia whispered, her voice wavering. Then the wind shifted, carrying a whisper through the grove, words she couldn't quite discern, trailing just beyond her hearing. She glanced around, uncertain, searching for something unseen. Kofi's expression shifted, concern weaving through his features, as if he sensed the very disturbance in the air. Suddenly, the branches above them began to sway, as if alive, whispering secrets the world had forgotten. Shadows mingled at the edges of her vision, dancing in and out of focus. Nia felt the grove pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat, a primal connection igniting within her. "Let's go back," she said abruptly, voice tinged with urgency. "Just another moment. I want to enjoy this with you," Kofi replied, squeezing her shoulder reassuringly. He peered out into the darkness of the grove, seemingly mesmerized. "You and me beneath the stars." The earth trembled slightly, a low rumble that seemed to resonate directly within Nia's core. She gasped, her instincts flaring to life. "Kofi!" Suddenly, a figure appeared from the shadows, a woman cloaked in leaves, skin glistening with the dew of the grove. Her presence was commanding, yet otherworldly. While Nia's heart raced with fear, Kofi remained bewildered, as if entranced. "Mama Esi?" Nia whispered, recognizing the village elder from the gossiping shadows. But the woman standing before them illuminated a different aura altogether. The spirit of the grove seemed to hum in her presence. "Child of the ancients," Mama Esi intoned, her voice like flowing water. "There are truths you must confront, and love will guide you through the darkness." Kofi blinked in confusion, and Nia's breath caught. "Truths? What truths?" "Your bloodline carries a legacy, one intertwined with the serpent of transformation," Mama Esi spoke, her eyes piercing. "For too long, you have danced on the surface of your fate, avoiding the shadows that dwell within." Nia shook her head in disbelief. "I don't understand. This is my wedding night. Why are you here?" "The time has come for you to embrace what lies beneath, the power that pulsates within your veins," Mama Esi continued, undeterred. "The spirits demand your acknowledgement. Only then will you find your strength." "Spirits?" Kofi interjected, his voice tinged with skepticism. "You can't be serious." As if straddling the threshold between two worlds, Nia wrestled between disbelief and fear. "What do you mean?" With an ethereal grace, Mama Esi stepped forth, the shadows swirling at her feet. She raised her hand, revealing a glimmering serpent pendant, gold and emerald, an exact match for the one Nia had worn since she was a child, a gift from her mother that now felt heavy with meaning. "This is your heritage," Mama Esi pronounced, each word echoing through the stillness. "Embrace it, or allow it to consume you. The choice is yours to make." Nia's pulse quickened. "But I don't want to change. I want to be with Kofi, to have a normal life." Mama Esi's gaze softened, empathy mingling with fierce intensity. "Nothing is ever normal in a life bound with magic, Nia. Love requires acknowledgement. Shadows must be embraced so that light may shine through." "Please," Kofi interjected with rising urgency. "This is just an old tale." But Nia felt her truth course through her, knowing the reality woven into the tapestry of her existence. "Mama Esi, what do I do?" she asked, desperation bleeding through. "Speak the words of acknowledgement. Only then will your path be illuminated, for the night ahead will reveal hidden truths. Your true self awaits," the elder advised. As the grove settled into an expectant silence, Nia inhaled deeply, a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions spinning around her. This was no longer just a night of joy but a night of reckoning. With her love at her side and the weight of her lineage pressing down, she cast her fears into the open air. "I acknowledge my heritage," she declared with a quivering voice, her hands shaking. "I embrace the shadows of my past, a legacy I cannot ignore. I will seek my truth." As the final word passed her lips, the air hummed, a sudden brightness breaking through the darkness, illuminating pathways that had long remained hidden. Shadows converged and twisted, revealing whispers of her ancestors lurking at the edges of her consciousness. In that moment of revelation, Nia felt the chains binding her heart begin to unravel, but along with the liberation came an unsettling shift. The night was just beginning, and the dance of shadows promised to unveil secrets that could alter the course of her forever. The serpent's embrace. As the last echo of Nia's declaration faded into the stillness of the grove, the air shimmered with an energy that churned both exhilaration and trepidation within her. Kofi leaned closer, searching her eyes for reassurance, the warmth of his presence grounding her amid a burgeoning storm of revelations. Mama Esi's expression softened, her wise eyes gleaming with an ancient understanding. "The recognition is but the first step, dear child. The wild magic of your lineage awakens. Be prepared, for it will change how you see yourself and the world." Nia nodded, a reluctant acceptance washing over her as she felt the weight of each ancestral generation pressing upon her. The grove suddenly pulsed more vibrantly, and the shadows whispered secrets concealed in the depths of time. Each breath seeped into her skin, an invitation from the past. "What now?" Kofi asked, gripping Nia's arm, his voice a mixture of anxiety and determination. "What does she mean by changing you?" Mama Esi stepped forward, her smooth movements commanding silence. The serpentine essence within her desires to reclaim what has been forsaken. Nia's path as the bridge between two worlds has begun. It will take courage to face the truth of your abilities. A haze washed over Nia as she processed Mama Esi's words. Snakes, symbol of transformation, renewal, and duality. Growing up, she had often shied away from the deeper meanings embedded in those stories, half-heartedly accepting them as mere folklore meant to frighten children. But now, the tales were resurrecting, reframing her very identity. "Will I lose myself in the process?" she whispered, fear creeping beneath her skin. Mama Esi studied her intensely, a knowing smile playing upon her lips. "It is not about losing yourself. It is about discovering who you truly are. The power you carry is a force for healing and transformation, but you must learn to master it, lest it masters you." A swirling vortex of uncertainty clenched at Nia's stomach. She glanced at Kofi, who searched her with concern. His unwavering love reignited the flicker of hope within her. He would stand by her, wouldn't he? The elder gestured through the grove, her voice a soothing balm. "Join me. We will call forth your ancestral spirits, so they may guide you through this awakening. Be ready, Nia. When the moon reaches its zenith, the ceremonial rites must commence." "Rites?" Kofi interjected. What does that entail? An open heart and a willingness to confront your deepest truths, Mama Esi replied, moving gracefully as shadows intertwined around her like serpents unfurling. To embrace the snake is to shed the skin of complacency and embrace change. Nia took a deep breath, feeling Kofi's warmth beside her as they followed Mama Esi deeper into the grove, where the air tinged with mystery. The weight of excitement and dread coiled around her like a serpent itself, making the very fabric of her essence vibrate. They reached a clearing rife with bioluminescent flowers, their glow an intimate invitation to the arcane gathering that felt both foreign and comforting. Surrounding them, ancient trees loomed like guardians, twisted roots gripping the earth beneath, as if holding wisdom that had flourished for centuries. Stand in the circle, Mama Esi instructed, outlining an intricate pattern on the ground with her staff. A circle interwoven with sacred symbols and patterns. Face your shadows, let the spirits interweave with your heart. Acknowledge their voice, and they shall guide you toward your true form. With hesitant movements, Nia and Kofi stepped into the formation, apprehension tinging their every breath. The elder faced them, her voice rising in an incantation that echoed through the grove, merging with the gentle rustling of leaves. Spirits of the earth, we call upon you. Let the child of serpent rise with grace, to embrace her essence, to reclaim her strength. The air thickened with an electric charge as ethereal shadows began to swirl and dance in the clearing. Whispers rose like tendrils of smoke, ghostly figures igniting around them. They took form, women adorned in silks, their bodies shimmering like scales in the moonlight, exuding power and a lineage long hidden. Nia trembled, but beneath the initial surge of fear, a deeper calling awakened. She could feel the stories of her ancestors flooding her mind, tales of strength, resilience, and sacrifice. The serpentine figures twirled around the clearing, knitting together threads of history, forging a tapestry interwoven with power and purpose. Embrace your ancestors, Nia, Mama Esi urged. Let their strength guide you, summon the magic. With trembling resolve, Nia took a step forward, the figures flowing toward her. Their energies entwined around her like gentle vines, wrapping her with whispered encouragement. Memories flooded her senses, of women who spoke with the voice of the forest, who mounted their fears as weapons to carve paths through each life's challenge. Nia gasped, feeling her own heart synchronize with the pulse of the grove. An image flickered before her eyes, a mother she barely remembered, vibrant and fierce, with curling hair that swayed like a dance caught between earth and sky. I am here, the figure echoed, her voice a soothing balm. You are not alone. Nia opened herself to the embrace, her essence ablaze with the richness of the past, feeling the shadows blend with her spirit. In that sacred moment, she understood the undeniable truth. Serpents shed their skin to grow, revealing vibrant identities hidden beneath the layers. With her eyes closed tight, she inhaled deeply, inviting the warmth within her to flourish. I acknowledge the legacy of my people. I embrace the serpent within me. Guide me to strength. Help me lead with love. The spirits circled her, twirling gracefully, merging their energies with hers until the world spun in a kaleidoscope of light. Nia opened her eyes to find her transformation had begun. A warmth flooded her veins, awakening the petrified corners of her soul. Kofi watched, awestruck, as the air shimmered around Nia. Something magical had ignited in her essence, illuminating the shadows that once clouded her spirit. Fear melted away, replaced by a fierce resolve that ignited her entire being. And as the moon reached its zenith, Nia knew this was only the beginning. The serpent she had once feared was galvanizing, offering her a strength she had never imagined. She stood on the precipice of awakening, about to stride into uncharted territory where love, shadows, and serpents entwined. The journey of self-discovery had begun. Whispers of the past. The energy within the clearing crackled like a wildfire, igniting across dry brush, each flicker generating shockwaves of unexplored power within Nia. She felt changes bath her skin. It tingled as if every pore awakened to a hidden truth, a recognition that lay dormant for far too long. The spirits, swirling and shimmering, welcomed her into a sacred dance that mirrored time immemorial. Kofi, standing at the boundary of the mystical unfolding, found himself lost in the whirlwind, his heart racing with wonder and fear. He grasped at the essence of Nia's transformation, pleading silently for his love to remain true and untainted in the face of her emerging power. Nia, he called out, his voice wavering beneath the echo of her ancestral spirits. "Are you still with me?" From within the dance, Nia turned her gaze to him, her eyes gleaming with an intensity that left him breathless. "I am," she exclaimed, her voice mingling with the whispers of the grove. "But I'm learning. I'm connecting with who I was meant to be." With recognition brightening his features, Kofi stepped forward. "You're changing, Nia. Is it safe? Are you still you?" Emboldened by the spirit's embrace, Nia held his gaze steady. "This is who I am. I cannot hide anymore." She inhaled deeply, feeling the unfamiliar warmth coil around her, liberating the shackles forged by doubt. Mama Esi observed the exchange, a proud smile gracing the elder's lips as she continued her incantation, weaving words that lifted the energy of the grove like a rising tide. "Ancestors, welcome your child. Let her power flow, let her voice resonate through these lands." As Nia surrendered to the rhythm of the dance, memories unraveled, flashes of laughter and sorrow belonging to the women before her. Stories she had heard in fragmented whispers began to string together like a mesmerizing narrative. Suddenly, one spirit drifted toward her, a captivating figure cloaked in a gown birthed from moonlight, her eyes shimmering like emeralds. Nia felt drawn to her, recognition swelling in her chest. "Mama." Nia breathed, the recognition flooding her senses. "Is it you?" The spirit nodded gracefully, her presence both ethereal and grounding. "My child, I have long awaited your awakening. We are woven together by threads stronger than time." Her voice was a melody of love and longing, laced with the whispers of the wind. Tears brimmed in Nia's eyes as she reached towards her mother's figure. "I didn't know. I thought I lost you." "You carry pieces of my spirit," the spirit of her mother replied, gliding closer. "The gifts I left for you run deeper than blood. I planted the seeds of resilience within your heart. When you acknowledge your past, you'll reclaim your strength and my love." Nia felt waves of longing wash over her, the love she had missed now glowing around her like the very moon above. "I want to understand. Help me find balance. How can I harness this power without losing myself?" "Embrace your truths," her mother replied, her voice echoing softly through the grove. "Fear will tempt you to hide, even as strength calls you to rise. You are both human and serpent, a beautiful paradox. Understand that the shadows are not your enemy, they are part of the journey." Nia paused, feeling a surge of understanding within her. The shadows, once feared, were the essence of self-discovery, a map of her lineage that connected her to generations past. As she absorbed the wisdom, the spirits began to shimmer with renewed brilliance. They formed a circle around her, beckoning her to share the fears she had long buried beneath the desires for acceptance and love. With an open heart, Nia began to speak the truths that lay dormant, releasing each one into the ether. "I feared failure, of not being worthy of Kofi's love, of not being enough," she confessed, her voice quivering. "I feared the burden of a legacy I never asked for." As her words echoed through the grove, the ancestral spirits leaned closer, absorbing her vulnerability, a healing light emanating from their collective wisdom. "Let go of the fears," instructed Mama Esi, her voice laced with warmth. "Raise your spirit as a torch. In embracing your truth, you become forever bonded to those who came before you." Nia took a deep breath, feeling the strength of those words reach deep within her. She began to visualize herself shedding the heavy skin of doubt, laying it aside like an ancient relic of her past. The shadows danced around her, no longer imposing barriers, but rather guides illuminating her path. With newfound determination, Nia raised her arms, inviting the soft caress of the spirit world to envelop her. She felt a warmth cradle her heart, infusing her with the essence of those who had fought battles and celebrated victories before her. "Kofi," she breathed, turning back toward him. "Can you feel this? I'm not just Nia anymore. I'm part of something bigger, a legacy filled with love, strength, and wisdom." Kofi's face was a tableau of awe and wonder as he stepped closer, imbued with understanding. "I see it in your eyes. You've tapped into something profound." Nia's spirit glimmered with newfound clarity, and as another ripple of energy coursed through her, she felt the pull of her destiny drawing nearer. She was not merely embracing the information but embodying it, a living manifestation of generations bound together. As the energy of the spirits wove through her, the grove enveloped them in a tender embrace. She whispered words of gratitude to the spirits, feeling the love of her ancestors lift her higher. The whispers of time, ignited by acceptance, transcended the boundaries between worlds, beckoning her ever forward. But even as her spirit soared, a hint of uncertainty lingered. The journey ahead would demand strength, an acceptance not just from within, but also from Kofi, who awaited the depth of her true self. Together, they stood at the intersection of love and legacy, aware that shadows held more than fear. They held the power to ignite the fiercest flames of transformation. The night was just beginning, a tapestry of wisdom unfolding, and Nia was ready to embrace the wondrous tale of her life, woven tightly with the echoes of the past. Beneath the serpent's skin. Nia awoke the next morning, the dawn breaking softly over the grove like a painter's first stroke of color. She hadn't slept deeply. Instead, the whispers of her ancestors and the visions of her awakening wove through her dreams. The ghostly figures still lingered at the edges of her consciousness, now a part of her soul, awakening something within her that demanded attention. As she stepped outside, the morning light filtered down through heavy branches, creating a mosaic of shadows on the ground. The air was infused with the scent of damp earth and dew-kissed flowers, invigorating her senses. Yet, her heart fluttered with anxiety, the gravity of her journey settling in her chest like a stone. Kofi waited for her on the outskirts of the grove, his expression a mix of concern and admiration, as he stood with hands thrust into his pockets, the morning sunlight catching the glimmers of his necklace and his rugged features. "Nia," he called softly as she approached, "there you are. I thought you might never wake." Her heart raced at the sight of him, the embodiment of safety and warmth amidst her recent tempest of change. Yet, doubt coiled around her heart again. How would he perceive the new essence within her? Would love endure even when shadows danced on the fringes? "Good morning," she replied, a smile breaking through her uncertainty. "I had an interesting night." Kofi studied her intently, and she sensed a storm brewing beneath his calm demeanor. "You look different. What happened in the grove?" Nia inhaled deeply, gathering her thoughts like precious threads intertwining to create a tapestry. Should she lay bare the depth of her connection to the ancestors, or would he withdraw from the heavier narrative? The elders spoke of destiny, yet the fear of losing Kofi gripped her insides. "I embraced my past," she finally said, voice unwavering. "I confronted the truth of my lineage." He stepped closer, concern etching lines on his forehead. "What do you mean? Confronted how?" "I learned about the serpent within me," she confessed, unable to look away from his searching eyes. "I'm not just Nia anymore, I'm the descendant of women who held powerful magic. I've accepted a legacy that is both a gift and a challenge." Kofi exhaled sharply, grappling with her words. "A legacy?" "The stories. They were folklore to scare children, Nia. I'm struggling to understand how it relates to you." Gathering courage, Nia took a step forward, locking her gaze onto his. "The stories are real, Kofi. The magic, the transformation. It's part of who I am now. I can feel it in my veins, the power of my ancestors urging me to understand and embrace this." He considered her for a moment, his brow furrowing. The weight of her revelation was palpable between them, a fragile filament bridging two worlds. "And what does that mean for us?" Nia's heart fluttered with anxiety, uncertainty blooming like wildflowers in the clarity of morning. I want to explore this together," she replied, her voice firm. "But my journey may uncover truths that compel us both to confront our deepest fears." "I don't want to hide from you, Kofi." For a moment, silence hung heavily, and Nia could almost hear the thrum of their unvoiced thoughts swirling in the air. Then Kofi stepped back, the distance between them solid and cold like the embrace of winter. "Nia, you're asking for understanding of something I cannot see," he said sharply, frustration coloring his words. "You're talking about power, magic and legacies I've only heard of as children's stories. How can I trust in something I cannot perceive?" The words cut deep, and a shiver of vulnerability surged through her. This was the crux of her fear, exposing herself to a reality that might scare him away. "Because it's not just magic. It's me, Kofi. It's who I will become." He scratched the back of his head, caught between disbelief and concern. "But part of loving each other is in trust, Nia. How can I trust you if you're shifting into something I don't recognize?" "The truth hasn't changed. I am still me, even with this new layer," she insisted, her eyes darting to the grove behind them, an echo chamber of reason where shadows danced persistently on her spirit. You need to understand, there's strength and beauty in transformation. I want to believe that, Kofi replied, shifting his weight as he turned away, pacing the edge of the grove, still searching for answers. But how do you know it will remain beautiful? What if you change so much that you're unrecognizable? Nia felt the shadows of doubt coil around her heart, constricting her response. I can't pretend it's all known. But if I'm untrue to myself, I'll lose everything we have. We'll lose everything. But will you be enough for me if this power changes you? Kofi pinched the bridge of his nose in frustration. How can I support something I don't understand? What if this power ends up consuming you? Then let's discover together, she urged, determination lacing her voice. Help me navigate this, Kofi. Lean into the mystery rather than retreat from it. I need you. Her words hung in the air, trembling like fragile glass, and Kofi paused, guilt clouding his expression. I want to help you, Nia. But it's hard to know the heart of a serpent without becoming ensnared. All I ask is your trust, even if it feels scary, she pleaded. Learning might hurt, but the reward could be magnificent. Together, we can unearth the beauty in our journey. Kofi finally turned to her, the fortress around his heart softening just a fraction. I don't want to lose you to this, serpent. As Nia reached out for him, gripping his forearm gently, she searched his eyes for an inkling of hope. You won't. Just let the shadows guide us. Accept that transformation is part of love. His features slowly relaxed, and though uncertainty still shrouded his thoughts, she saw a spark of willingness, perhaps even curiosity bloom behind his eyes. For the first time that morning, the air felt lighter, a promise lingered between them. Let's figure this out together, Kofi finally said, a hint of resolve threading through his words. As they turned to face the grove, Nia felt the pulse of her destiny thrumming in the air, whispering tales of power and resilience. Perhaps shadows were not to be feared but embraced, a sacred dance pushing them toward discovery. Hand in hand, they ventured deeper into the unknown, ready to confront the mysteries that awaited beyond the trees, willing to redefine their love in the kaleidoscope of light and shadow woven with the legacy of her ancestors. The trials of the heart. The grove enveloped Nia and Kofi like a silken veil as they ventured deeper into the sunlight-dappled thicket. Each step resonated with a sense of purpose, the air woven with the earthy aroma of moss and wildflowers. Yet the promise of transformation weighed heavily on Nia's heart. She had opened a door to her heritage, but the path ahead remained shrouded in ambiguity. Where do we begin? Kofi asked, glancing around as though seeking guidance from the trees themselves. His voice lacked the buoyance of previous days, carrying the weight of uncertainty. Nia paused, considering the vastness of what lay ahead. I think we need to visit the central altar, she suggested, recalling the stories of her mother's teachings, the place where rituals manifested power, where ancestral spirits were invoked to guide the living. Kofi nodded, his expression determined. Lead the way. But promise me you'll be careful. With a deep breath, Nia pressed forward, excitement mingling with apprehension. The stories of her past and the enchantment of the present coiled around her heart, urging her to embrace the unknown. As they walked, she felt the thrum of ancestral energy beneath her skin. Each pulse flooded her with resonance as she called upon her forebears for strength. The clearing came into view, lush greenery encircling the altar like a protective embrace. Weathered stones, adorned with intricate carvings, rose from the earth as if speaking to the sky. At the center lay offerings from past ceremonies, bright flowers and vibrant feathers left by those who sought guidance. As they approached, Nia grew still, taking in the atmosphere. A sacred silence enveloped the space, creating an undeniable sense of reverence. This is where I felt the power of my bloodline, she murmured, moving closer to the altar. She gently brushed her fingers over the warm stones, tracing the patterns etched by time and devotion. Kofi stepped beside her, his presence comforting in the midst of the ancient energy thrumming in the air. What do we do now? He asked, curiosity dancing in his eyes. It's time to honor my ancestors, Nia replied, a spark of determination igniting within her. I'll seek clarity about the power within me and what it means for our future. Shouldn't we perform a ritual? Kofi suggested, warmth blooming in his tone as he stepped into the tapestry of her heritage. Something to connect with the spirits? Nia smiled, grateful for his support, and nodded. Yes, we need to make offerings. Something personal, something that reflects our intentions and hopes. Kofi searched his pockets and pulled out a small polished stone, smooth and glimmering in the light. This comes from the river where I first fished with my father. It's filled with good memories. He placed the stone on the altar, a symbol of his trust and shared journey. Nia's heart swelled with love for him, knowing this gesture spoke volumes. She then reached for a wildflower she had picked earlier, a vibrant yellow bloom, symbolizing hope and renewal. For clarity and new beginnings, she said softly, placing the flower next to Kofi's stone. Together, they closed their eyes, aligning their intentions with the energy radiating from the altar. Ancestors, we seek your guidance in this moment of transformation. Nia spoke, her voice steady yet gentle. Guide us through the trials that lie ahead. Grant us the wisdom to navigate the union of our paths. The air rippled, and for a fleeting moment, Nia felt a gentle breeze sweep through, as though the spirits were acknowledging their humble offering. Her heart raced with anticipation, yet tentative hope flickered within her. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the grove, like a distant thunder rolling across the land. Leaves trembled, and wisps of fog unfurled from the earth, creeping toward the altar as if drawn by an invisible force. A surge of energy, a warning perhaps, wrapped around them like a tightly woven net. What was that? Kofi whispered, his eyes wide, glancing at the shadows that danced ominously at the periphery of the clearing. I don't know, Nia admitted, the excitement morphing into trepidation. But I think the spirits are testing us. As if to emphasize her words, the fog coalesced, transforming into a swirling figure, a being that glided forth, emerging from the depths of mystery. Its form was serpentine, shifting yet regal, enveloping them in an aura demanding recognition. I am Numa, gatekeeper of the ancestral realm, the figure proclaimed, its voice a harmonious blend of strength and gentleness. You have called upon me, challengers of fate. Nia's heart raced. Uncertainty seeped through her veins. We seek guidance, she composed herself. I want to understand the serpent within me and the power it brings. Power demands respect and courage. Child of the ancient line, Numa responded, weaving around them. You will face trials, tests of heart, spirit, and flesh. Only through conquering your fears and embracing your truth will you unlock the gifts lying dormant within. Kofi shifted beside Nia, anxiety darkening his eyes. What kind of trials? What do you mean by tests of heart and spirit? Numa's form shimmered, swirling into the fog once more. Expect pain as part of the healing. Fear will emerge as shadows challenge your resolve. Embrace the trials that awaken your strength, for only through struggle can true power be revealed. Nia inhaled sharply, sensing the weight of the task ahead. What do we do? Embody your truth and face your fears without falter, Numa instructed, voice lingering as the shadows receded. A choice will guide you, and remember, you are never alone. Your bond shall be your strength. As the figure faded into the ether, Numa's words hung over the clearing like a spell woven tight, an incantation promising trials, growth, and connection. Kofi reached for Nia's hand, instinctively grounding her as uncertainty crept forward. Nia, are you ready for what's ahead? Trials can be dangerous. She turned to him, her heart echoing with his concern. I won't back down, Kofi. I'm determined to discover who I am and what it means for us. We have come this far together. He hesitated, apprehension flickering in his gaze, but Nia saw trust gathering beneath his surface. Then let's prepare ourselves, he said, determination solidifying in his voice. With their hearts entwined, they faced the grove, embers of bravery flared within them, heralding the unknown trials that awaited, the serpentine path illuminated by the love that dared to travel alongside the shadows. The first trial, shadows of doubt. The air was thick with tension as Nia and Kofi stood at the edge of the grove, the lush foliage now twisted and heavy with anticipation. They had spoken the words of guidance, offered their intentions, and summoned the serpent who had unveiled their path. Yet, as the reality of Numa's warning seeped in, a palpable fear began to coil in their chests. What if we can't conquer the trial? Kofi mused, running a hand through his hair, eyes darting toward the encroaching shadows. What if the darkness is too strong? The question hung heavy between them, each moment stretching into eternity. Nia felt the weight of his uncertainty, but she also felt the burning fire of her own resolve. "We have to face this, Kofi. The only way to move forward is to confront the shadows." He nodded, but the furrow in his brow never relaxed. "We need to stay close together. If this trial brings up our fears, we can't let each other slip away." Nia felt strength flood her as they clasped hands. Together, they stepped into the enveloping shadows, the world around them transforming into a corridor of deep greens and blacks, the light receding behind them. Within the depths of the grove, whispers flitted through the air like echoes of a forgotten past. "Nia," a familiar voice called out, swirling around them, pulling at her heart. "Mama." Nia halted, looking for the source among the twisting trees. The shadows flickered, revealing snippets of her childhood. Her mother's laughter, her gentle reminders, the vulnerabilities laid bare when she felt weak or afraid. "Stay strong, my child," the voice reverberated through the leaves. Kofi's grip tightened around her hand as he gazed into the darkness. "Is this part of it? Are we being tested by your memories?" "Yes," Nia replied, fear and longing intertwining. "The shadows are revealing truth. But I can't give in to despair." In that moment, images of her childhood flickered in the shadows. Days filled with laughter that masked nights of loneliness. Memories that wrestled with her sense of worth. Nia felt the sting of tears prick at her eyes. "I always felt like I wasn't good enough, Kofi. Like I had to prove myself. If I hadn't lost her." "Nia," Kofi whispered, stepping closer. "You did your best. Your mother loved you, and she would be proud of you." But as memories twisted, a darker shadow surged forth, the embodiment of her insecurities. It took form, becoming a mirror of her self-doubt, a figure that towered over her, its dark eyes mockingly reflecting her own. "You think yourself worthy of love? Worthy of power?" The figure hissed, the voice a hiss filled with both disdain and mockery. "You've been weak, clinging to your mother's memory as a shield. Did you think that would be enough?" Nia shuddered, wanting to retreat, but she felt Kofi's reassuring presence beside her, grounding her. "You are not alone, Nia," he called out, echoing through the shadows. "Fight back the darkness. Fight back." Nia echoed, gathering her courage as she faced the embodiment of her fears. "You are not my truth. I am not defined by loss. I am strong enough to carry her memory without it consuming me." The dark figure shook its head, laughter echoing through the grove. "You think strength lies in resilience? You are but a shadow of your mother, a mere specter clinging to what was." "No," Nia shouted, her voice rising. "I can embrace my past and grow. I am not merely a reflection of what she was. I am my own person, shaped by both light and dark." As her words poured forth, she could feel the energy surge within her, a connection to the spirits framing her heart. The shadows mingled closer, pulling away from her body, retreating under the warmth of her resolve. She felt the growth of clarity swallowing the darkness whole until a burst of light exploded like shooting stars, illuminating the grove. The dark figure faltered, shadows flickering as it faced the strength of Nia's spirit. "No!" it shrieked, and with each word she spoke, waves of light swept through the grove like a surging tide. "You cannot quell my spirit," Nia declared louder than before. "I choose to carry my mother's love without being bound by fear. I am ready to wield the strength within the patterns of power woven in my bloodline." The figure twisted violently, then dissipated into the air like smoke caught in the wind, scattering in the sunlight that streamed down upon them. As silence settled, Nia felt the energy of the grove shift. Vivid beams illuminated the altar where she and Kofi had pledged intentions, remnants of their ritual hanging alive in the air. Nia turned to Kofi, breathless from the encounter. Did we do it?" He returned her gaze, all lighting his features. "You confronted it, Nia. I saw you fight your doubts. I thought you might crumble, but you rose." With a slow smile curling her lips, Nia dared to embrace the possibility blooming within her. This was just the first trial. There will be more ahead. But now I feel ready to learn. Kofi nodded, gripping her hand tightly. "Together, we'll face whatever comes next." As they stepped further into the grove, the shadows receded, revealing a path illuminated by the soft glow of flowers. Bursting with newfound strength and a clearer understanding, Nia looked forward, ready to embrace whatever challenges awaited. The trials had begun, but with each step, She felt the power of her ancestors surge in her veins, a guiding light urging her onward into the unknown, illuminating the shadows with every breath. The trial of the heart. As the paths underfoot twisted through dense underbrush and ancient trees, Nia felt a thrill weave through her veins, a pulse of determination that resonated with the spirits guiding her. A renewed sense of purpose fueled her, yet an undercurrent of dread brushed against her thoughts. The first trial had unveiled her inner strength, yet another lay ahead, a trial not only of spirit but also of the heart. Kofi remained close by her side, a steadfast beacon against the depths of uncertainty. "What do you think this next trial will be?" he asked, gazing apprehensively into the thickening shadows. "I'm not sure," Nia admitted, her mind racing with possibilities. "But if the first was about facing my doubts, maybe this one will challenge my capacity to love, our love." Kofi's brow furrowed. "You think it'll test us?" "We've come this far," Nia replied, her voice soft but steady. "But love is a complex bond, beauty intertwined with fear. I have to believe it's part of the journey." As they continued deeper into the grove, the air around them thickened, a heavy mist hovering just above the ground. The trees loomed taller, their gnarled branches twisted like skeletal fingers, creating an ominous corridor of darkness. The light filtered through only in slivers, framing Nia and Kofi as they progressed into the heart of the grove. "I'm right here," Kofi assured her as they crossed into a clearing, where the mist parted to reveal a wide expanse shimmering with the remnants of moonlight. In the center stood a magnificent tree, its bark twisted and lined with intricate patterns that pulsed faintly as if breathing. The roots of the tree wrapped around glowing stones embedded in the earth. The air thrummed with a palpable energy, sending shivers through Nia's skin. "Welcome," a voice resonated from the depths of the tree, enveloping them in warmth. The voice was both gentle and powerful, drawing them closer. "I am Omu, guardian of the heart trial. Can you tell us what we must do?" Kofi asked, stepping forward, his pose protective yet curious. "To engage with the heart is to confront the depths of your connection to one another," Omu spoke. "You may encounter visions of fear and longing, but you must be prepared to share your innermost truths." Nia swallowed hard. It was one thing to confront shadows, but sharing vulnerabilities with Kofi felt like exposing her soul. "What lies in your hearts will dictate the strength of your bond," Omu continued, the tree's branches swaying as if listening intently. "Your journey begins by facing the fears that linger between you, the hidden desires that remain unspoken. Only honesty will lead you to the other side." "Are we ready for this?" Kofi asked softly, his gaze flickering from the tree to Nia, searching for assurance. "We've already faced one trial," she whispered back. "I think I can do this. I want to understand us better." The air thickened, swirling around them in a rush of vibrant light, sending them spiraling into a vision. Suddenly, the world shifted, and they found themselves standing amongst rippling silhouettes of their past. Nia blinked in disbelief as the surroundings coalesced into a vivid tapestry of memories. They stood in a grassy meadow bathed in golden light, the echoes of happier times filled with laughter. "Is this?" Nia began, but an ethereal breeze swept through, altering the environment. The warmth waned, replaced by a chilling shadow that split the scene. Suddenly, she found herself at her childhood home, a familiar place tinged with melancholy. Her mother's smile flickered in her mind, yet moments of doubt clawed at her heart. "Where am I?" Kofi's voice cut through, reverberating with the weight of concern. He stood beside her, but in the next instant, the scene shifted again. "I'm scared that I can't hold on to you," Nia confessed, fear visibly eclipsing her joy. The winds of the meadow shifted, and dark layers began to unfold before her, echoing her hidden insecurities. "What if I lose everything when I embrace the truth of who I am?" "Why would you think that?" Kofi looked at her with wide eyes, confusion wrestling with sadness. "I want you to be the strongest version of yourself. But that doesn't mean I'll be lost in the shadows." Yet the scene shifted again. Nia stood in a nightmarish void surrounded by swirling shadows, and towering figures began to converge around them, ghosts of loneliness and fear echoing her doubts. "You think love will be enough?" The shadows hissed, intertwining their forms into a monstrous figure, voice dripping with malice. "You'll become a stranger to him. You'll fail him." Kofi's eyes widened with understanding. "No, Nia. This is not the truth. They want to instill doubt." Trembling, Nia fought against the darkness, the shadows intertwining with her thoughts, twisting memories of worthlessness and worth. I don't want to hurt you, Kofi. If I descend deeper into this, if I become something more, I might not return to who I was before. You growing won't erase who you are. Kofi shouted, his voice steady amidst the chaos. Nia, love isn't a cage, it's a bridge. We'll walk the path together. His words ignited a flicker of warmth amid her wavering heart. But what if my truth scares you away? Then we face that fear together, Kofi implored, determination etching his features. We'll confront the shadows, the monsters. They cannot defeat us if we choose to face them. In that instant, Nia's heart surged with clarity. She stepped forward, ignoring the swirling darkness. You are right. I want to embrace every part of who I am, and I refuse to let fear dictate my choices. With a fierce determination surpassing the shadow's menacing grasp, Nia extended her hand back to Kofi, who stepped forward to join her. They stood united against the tide of fear surging around them. The monstrous figure shrieked and began to unravel, darkness dispersing into wisps of smoke, scattered beneath their resolve. You will not silence us, the hushed voices echoed, yet they faded as Nia gripped Kofi's hand tighter. I choose love over fear, she declared, her voice resonating through the clearing. With each word, shadows dissolved, unveiling a twilight sky filled with shimmering stars, a canvas awash in vulnerability and strength. They had faced the depths of their hearts, emerging emboldened and connected. A gentle light enveloped them, illuminating the path leading back to Omu at the ancient tree. Well done, children of the heart, Omu greeted them warmly, the branches swaying softly. You faced the trial of the heart and emerged stronger than before. Love can conquer doubt when nurtured by honesty. Nia and Kofi shared a relieved glance, understanding now glimmering brightly in their expressions. As they stepped forward together, they found reassurance in their bond, knowing they could confront whatever trials awaited ahead. The trial of the spirit. With the remnants of the heart trial lingering in their minds, Nia and Kofi stepped back into the grove, invigorated yet contemplative. The atmosphere felt charged, the path ahead now more pronounced, illuminated by the warm glow of their love and the trust that had been deepened through their experience. We did it, Kofi breathed, his relief palpable as he squeezed her hand. It feels like we've conquered a mountain. But there's still one more trial, Nia reminded him, a mixture of excitement and trepidation flaring in her heart. What awaits us now? Omu's voice echoed through the trees, a gentle reminder of the task at hand. The spirits await, and your soul seeks its true essence through the final trial. In the hushed silence of the grove, they could feel the anticipation dance in the air like fireflies woven from starlight. The path twisted ahead, leading them deeper into the heart of the ancient woodland, each step bringing them closer to the essence of the spirit. The trees seemed more sentient now, their gnarled branches intertwined above to create an intricate canopy, filtering sunlight into dazzling patterns on the forest floor. As they ventured further, Nia suddenly stopped, her heart pounding with a premonition. Do you hear that? She whispered, her senses heightened. A faint melody drifted through the stillness, beckoning them toward an open glade that lay just beyond a dense thicket. Kofi nodded, his eyes alight with curiosity. It sounds like singing? Nia felt a pull towards the sound, drawing her away from the shadows of doubt that had once clouded her heart. They cleared the underbrush and entered the glade, where vibrant flora pulsated with color under the sun. In the center, a shimmering pool reflected the sky, alive with a surreal energy. The melody grew louder, ethereal voices harmonizing in a dazzling display. A circle of luminescent beings, spirits adorned in flowing robes and veins of light, danced gracefully around the edge of the pool, their movements fluid and spellbinding. Omu spoke of you, one of the spirits said, stepping forward, her aura radiating gentle warmth. You seek the knowledge of self, the truth of your spirit. Nia stepped closer, entranced by their beauty yet wary of how to engage with beings so far removed from human experience. What must we do? She asked, her voice trembling with awe. To understand your spiritual essence, you must face the darkness that lies within. Reveal the truth hidden from your own sight, the spirit replied, her dark eyes shimmering with wisdom. The trial of the spirit demands honesty, as only through confrontation can you unlock your potential. The ground beneath them pulsed, and the shimmering pool began to ripple, mesmerizing Nia. A door to the depths of her spirit unfolded, revealing images and echoes of herself. She glimpsed moments from her past, the times she felt lost, the moments of joy that had shaped her character, and the fragments of her upbringing entwined with magic. Nia was suddenly submerged in visions, spinning her into a dreamlike state. She found herself standing before a mirror, the reflection morphing and shifting. The figure looking back was her, yet not her. A ghostly version wore the hints of her insecurities, distortions created from the scars of her past, a being encapsulated by pain, fear, and loss. "I'm scared," the ghostly reflection whispered, tears pooling in its eyes. "What if embracing this essence means losing everything I care about?" Nia's heart ached, recognizing the fears that had woven invisibly into her spirit. "You're not lost. I refuse to abandon you. You are part of me," she declared fiercely. As she spoke, the reflection wavered, revealing the truth that lay beneath: the yearning for love, the power of healing, and the strength hidden within vulnerability. Kofi's voice pulled her from the vision. "Nia, are you all right?" "I see it, Kofi. I see the fears that hinder me," she shouted back, determination quaking in her chest. "I can change this." She reached into the depths of her spirit, an instinct guiding her to rewrite the narrative. "You are not just an echo and not a shell," she spoke to the reflection. "You are the essence of resilience, of wisdom grown through experience." The restless spirit within her began to illuminate, weaving tendrils of magic through her soul. The mirror shimmered, rippling into a cascade of brilliance that illuminated the grove. Suddenly, the spirits surrounding the pool raised their arms, singing a refrain that harmonized with Nia's words. "Embrace your truth, embrace your scars, for they shape you deeply." As the darkness began to dissipate, Nia reached out, intertwining her fingers with her reflection, pulling it closer, melding their essences into one. Light flooded from the pool, cleansing and renewing, absorbed into her skin, stitching the threads of her shattered spirit into a vibrant tapestry of oneness. Kofi stood steadfast beside her, eyes filled with awe. "Nia, you're glowing." "I feel free," she breathed, the gnarled textures of fear peeling away as vibrant energy flowed through her veins. "This is what my spirit longs for, a fusion of light and dark, love and fear." The spirits harmonized in a final crescendo as Nia felt the warmth of their acceptance wash over her. Each brilliant voice became part of her, melding with her essence, renewing her spirit with the wisdom of lifetimes. As the last note faded and the glade returned to its serene stillness, Nia stood transformed, aware of the power that now surged within her, ready to embrace her true self. "You have faced the trial of the spirit," the leading spirit announced, her aura shimmering with pride. "You've unlocked the depths of your essence. The light shines not just through love but through courage in the face of adversity." Kofi turned to Nia, astonishment glowing in his expression. "You've embraced it all. Every part of yourself. I'm so proud of you." "Together, we've faced each trial," she smiled through a sheen of tears. "And now we stand whole, ready for whatever comes next." As they embraced, laughter erupted from the forest, filling the air with a joyous melody, heralding their victory over the trials. With the whispers of the spirits guiding their way, they continued down the winding path through the grove, ready to step into the future without fear, knowing their bond was woven with the threads of every trial they faced. The echoes of destiny. The path stretched ahead, winding through the lush emerald landscape, glistening with dew under the warm rays of the sun. Nia and Kofi felt the weight of their trials ease, yet a storm of anticipation brewed within them, promising adventure and uncertainty. They had faced their fears, their hearts entwined with clarity, yet the grove's magic whispered of grander challenges to come. "What lies ahead?" Kofi spoke softly, his gaze scanning the intricate patterns the sun painted upon the ground. "I can feel the energy shifting, like we're on the brink of something monumental." "I feel it too," Nia replied, excitement and apprehension swirling in her heart. The trials had opened their minds, revealing fragments of truth about themselves and their love. "But I've learned that facing the unknown is part of this journey. Whatever awaits us, we'll face it together." A sense of purpose gripped Nia as they stepped further into the grove, the trees arching higher around them, their foliage rustling like a conversation held just beyond the surface of understanding. Shadows danced playfully among the trunks, beckoning them closer, guiding them deeper into the hidden cradle of magic. As they ventured onward, the landscape shifted, transforming into a breathtaking glade encircled by ethereal luminescence. Flowers bloomed in hues unseen, cyan, violet, and hints of shimmering gold. Nia felt drawn to the vibrant colors, a kaleidoscope that ignited a spark of inspiration deep within. "Look," Kofi said, pointing ahead. "There's something in the center." Nia squinted, perceiving a towering obelisk-like stone standing tall at the center of the clearing, shimmering as if woven from the night sky. It pulsed gently, radiating an alluring energy that felt both inviting and formidable. Intricate runes and symbols spiraled down its length, glowing with vitality. As they approached, the obelisk began to hum, a sound that permeated their very souls, whispering secrets of time, fate, and universes entwined. "What is it?" Kofi asked, his voice almost reverent. This must be the heart of the grove," Nia replied, feeling the essence emanating from it. "The embodiment of destiny, the convergence of each trial we've faced." Suddenly, the stone pulsed stronger, and memories cascaded through their minds, a montage of visions threatening to envelop them. Moments from their lives unfurled before their eyes. Nia's childhood, filled with both joy and loss, her mother teaching her the beauty of magic and the courage to explore her lineage. Kofi hunting in the forest, laughing with childhood friends, and the spark that ignited between them in the village square. But the visions shifted, unveiling choices they had made, regrets, missed opportunities, and paths not taken. Nia's heart clenched as she sensed the weight of each decision. "I was afraid to confront my heritage, and I nearly lost you," she cried out, swallowed by uncertainty. "Every choice shapes us, Nia. We grow through experiences, good and bad," Kofi reassured, his voice steady, reaching out to caress her arm. "You're here. We're here. You didn't lose me. This is our moment, a chance to redefine our paths," Nia declared, feeling the pulse of the obelisk sync with her determination. "We must embrace the entirety of our stories and the choices that lie ahead." As if responding to their resolve, the obelisk glowed brighter, illuminating the ground beneath them with radiant light. The hum crescendoed, spiraling through the air, enveloping them in a cocoon of warmth and safety. "Step forward, children of destiny," a voice resonated from the obelisk, deep and rich with ancient wisdom. "Here, you shall shape your future. Confront the echoes of your past, for true clarity arises when you embrace the journey that lies ahead." Nia and Kofi exchanged glances laden with understanding. They would confront their pasts but also redefine their futures together. With hearts entwined in purpose, they stepped forward. "What must we do?" Kofi asked, stepping into the radiance. "Make your choice," the obelisk replied, its voice echoing in the grove. "Choose the paths you wish to weave into the tapestry of your lives. Speak aloud what you desire, and the echoes of the grove shall resonate." Nia inhaled deeply, feeling the air sparkle around them. "I want to embrace my heritage fully, to become a beacon of love and magic, honoring my ancestors while forging our future." As she spoke, the obelisk pulsed, absorbing her words and illuminating with vibrant light. Kofi took a steadying breath, his conviction pressing against his chest. "And I choose to stand beside Nia, to support her journey, embracing the beauty of change and the wisdom gained through our trials." The obelisk radiated a burst of light, enveloping them both in its warmth. As they stood together, a vision emerged, an intricate tapestry unfurling before their eyes, weaving their stories into one. Threads of magic intertwined in vibrant colors, reflecting resilience, love, and hope. "Together, you shall weave a tale of strength and exploration," the obelisk proclaimed. "Harness your spirits, nurture your love, and carry forth the legacy that springs from the depths of your hearts." As the light faded, they found themselves standing firm beneath the towering stone, gazing at the tapestry shimmering before them, a promise of existence that stretched beyond the horizon. Kofi turned to Nia, his heart bursting with pride and admiration. "We're ready for anything," he breathed, wrapping his arms around her. Nia felt empowered, their destinies intertwined with the multitudes of choices and possibilities stretched before them. Hand in hand, they embraced the uncharted terrain ahead, confident that their love would guide them through the echoes of their journey, towards a destiny born of hope, magic, and unwavering connection. The final choice. As Nia and Kofi stood before the radiant tapestry woven by their stories and choices, the air around them quivered with an electric hum, a pulse of potential waiting to be uncovered. The ethereal light dissolved into flecks of gold and silver, sprinkling the grove with shimmering remnants of promises whispered in the depths of their hearts. Look closely, the voice of the obelisk resonated, beckoning them deeper. Each thread represents a choice, a connection, a reflection of the love and struggles that unite you. Discover the paths you wish to embark upon. Nia stepped closer, mesmerized by the shifting hues and intricate designs. Each intertwining pattern revealed glimmers of their past. A moment of shared laughter, the comfort found in their embrace, and their trials depicted through swirling storms of color. This tapestry pulsed with an undeniable heartbeat, an enchanting reflection of their shared experiences. What do we need to do? Kofi asked, curiosity woven into his voice as he examined the depths of the tapestry's intricate narrative. To shape the future, the obelisk explained, you must choose which threads to pull, what echoes to weave into the lives you desire. Nia felt a flutter of excitement, mixed with urgency. Our choices shape the futures we dream of. She glanced at Kofi, who lit up with understanding. We can define what our life looks like together. As they began to approach the tapestry, Nia sensed the intensity of the moment hanging in the air, filled with both promise and uncertainty. But what if there are paths we're meant to leave behind? She pondered aloud, engulfed in momentary doubt. What if we let go of parts of ourselves? Kofi stepped closer, emphasizing their bond with his unwavering gaze. Every choice involves sacrifice, but it also leads to growth. Let's focus on what we truly desire. What legacy do we wish to create? Taking a deep breath, Nia closed her eyes and opened her heart to the possibilities that lay before them. I want to preserve our love in a world filled with magic, she declared, picturing a life overflowing with connection, creativity, and discovery. Kofi nodded, feeding off her energy. And I want to protect that world, to stand guard and share the strength I've learned to cultivate through our trials. A life where we stand united against any darkness that dare approach us. As their desires crystallized in the air, the tapestry shimmered in response, its colors swirling and shifting, weaving together their intentions into a single, vibrant thread that pulsed with hope. The threads are coming together, Kofi exclaimed, awestruck as the light danced around them, beckoning them to visualize their future. Let's make it real, Nia said, adrenaline rushing through her veins. Let's pull the threads that resonate with us most. With determination flooding their spirits, they reached toward the tapestry, their hands brushing against the woven fibers. As they grasped the vibrant threads representing their aspirations, a wave of warmth wrapped around them, icons of their choices cascading through the air like ripples in a pond. Together we can weave a reality that honors our journey, Nia affirmed, each pull of their shared essence igniting a flame of creation. This tapestry tells our story, of love, resilience, and transformation. As the energy surged around them, the faces of their ancestors emerged briefly within the tapestry, reflecting their lineage as guardians and guides, infusing them with strength and pride. Suddenly, the tapestry began to unravel, its threads sparkling as they transformed into luminous beams of light that encircled Nia and Kofi. Embrace your destiny, the obelisk's voice reverberated, urging them to stand firm. The final choice lies in your hands. Will you embrace this path, knowing that your choices redefine the course of your lives? Together, Nia responded, hope surging through her like wildfire. We are ready to embrace it. Our love is the most powerful force we possess. In one fluid gesture, they pooled their energy together, pulling the vibrant threads through their intertwined fingers. The incandescent light brightened even further until they emerged into a brilliant vortex, engulfing them in a tapestry of their making. As the brilliance cascading around them began to glow brighter, images from their possible futures enveloped their surroundings. Moments stitched together from love, laughter, and connection intertwined with daring adventures and quiet hours spent under the starlit sky. They could hear the whispers of the grove urging them forward, and they felt grounded in the knowledge that they had faced trials filled with shadows and light. These paths, woven from their choices and sacrifices, had deepened their bond. May we walk this path with courage, hand in hand, Kofi whispered fervently, his voice unwavering in strength as the light wrapped around them. I choose you, Nia whispered back, feeling the core of her essence surge warmly. I choose this life. We weave our story forevermore. As the light glimmered and expanded, lifting them higher into the tapestry of their destiny, Nia and Kofi lost themselves in each other, the magic surrounding them, guiding them toward a world filled with love, hope, and infinite possibilities. a power forged by their choices and a legacy unveiled through their hearts. Together, they had woven the fabric of their future, ready to step into an adventure that stretched beyond the boundaries of their lives, reaching into the profound echoes of the universe. A tapestry of tomorrow. The light enveloped them, swirling with colors that shimmered like the dawn, radiating warmth and hope. As Nia and Kofi floated in the gentle embrace of energy, their hearts pulsed together in rhythm, uniting their desires into a single, vibrant tapestry of possibilities. Amidst the brilliance, the tapestry began to take shape around them. Threads spun and wove into a narrative that reflected their dreams, painting visions of a future intertwined with adventures and challenges, laughter and love, each moment carefully crafted by their hands, hearts, and decisions. With each new scene unfurling, Nia gasped at the vividness. There were moments of joy, the warmth of their embrace beneath the glistening stars, the laughter shared during sunlit picnics on the riverbank, the work they would do together, protecting their village from the shadows of danger. They saw themselves helping children at the water's edge, sharing stories, and teaching magic while nurturing the bonds that connected the village to the heart of the grove. Beside her, Kofi's eyes sparkled with wonder. "This is beautiful. It's everything we could ever wish for." Nia's heart swelled with joy at the prospect of their shared future. "It's our story, intertwining with the essence that flows through our souls." She stepped forward, reaching out to trace the images that flickered before her, every choice illuminating the rich landscape grown from their love. Yet, as they moved deeper into the tapestry, scenes morphed into darker echoes. A sudden chill brushed against their skin, whispering reminders of fears they had faced. The looming shadows threatening their loved ones, the responsibilities of power, and the uncertainty of the path ahead. Nia shivered, her heart pounding. "Kofi, will we always be faced with darkness, even in our brightest moments?" Kofi turned to her, resolute in his understanding. "Nia, light and darkness coexist. It does not diminish our light but strengthens it. Each choice we make ripples across the tapestry. We hold the power to face challenges with love guiding us." Resolute, Nia took a deep breath, feeling the tension ease as they emerged from the shadows. She braced against the echoes, choosing to envision the bond that would carry them through. "We must face the darkness with our love, knowing it exists only to shape us." With every word, the vibrant images shifted and adapted, reshaping the world around them. The dark threads receded, weaving into intricate patterns that served as reminders of their trials. Transformations ultimately leading to strength and resilience. As the light brightened once more, the obelisk began to radiate energy, pulsating with the echoes of their hearts. The tapestry is nearly complete, but it requires one final choice. "What do we need to decide?" Kofi inquired, fascination sparking in his eyes. "To determine how your story will end," the obelisk answered, each word resonating through the air. "Will you allow your love to guide you, standing together as you step into the future? Will you nurture the bonds of magic created? The choice lies in your hands." As they pondered the question, Nia took Kofi's hand, their fingers entwined, a solid reminder of the bond they had forged through heart and spirit. "This tapestry is a reflection of us," she began, squeezing his palm tightly. "I choose a life where our love shines even in the face of darkness. I choose unity, understanding, and adventure. I choose every moment we've shared, both light and shadow, because it is our story." Kofi smiled, pride radiating from him as he faced the obelisk, strengthening their resolve. "I pledge to walk this journey with Nia, to embrace whatever lies ahead, nourished by love, spirit, and the magic of our ancestors." In this moment of commitment, they felt the threads begin to weave themselves tighter together, illuminating their surroundings with a brilliance that defied all darkness. "Then it shall be so," the obelisk declared, the voice echoing like thunder. "Your choice ignites the flames of possibility for all time." With those words, the tapestry spun brilliantly, swirling around them as the world transformed into a place of radiant beauty. The grove erupted in vibrant energy, the flowers pulsed with color, the trees swayed in joyous bursts, and laughter echoed like bubbling streams. As the light enveloped them fully, Nia and Kofi felt their spirits intertwine, the magic of the grove singing songs of elation. They ventured into the tapestry of tomorrow, stepping forward hand in hand, ready to embrace a world woven from their choices, forever nurtured by love and the laughter of their ancestors. With hearts bravely intertwined, they stepped into the embrace of their newly crafted destiny, casting whispers of hope into the universe and honoring the legacy of magic forged from the dance of shadows and light. United, they would illuminate the pathways ahead, writing the next chapter of their story together, one filled with promise, adventure, and unbreakable bonds.